So once again, we're recording at the last minute because we had scheduled things, but then we fell off the wagon a bit.
Also, I've been sick.
Yes.
So...
And first off, I would like to apologize.
Oh, please, for the love of God, apologize.
I am sorry that I subjected you to this movie. I only wanted to see it because it was filmed in my hometown.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, the movie we're doing this week is Super Troopers 2. Tyler picked it, so please blame Tyler.
No.
Please.
Probably fair.
It was awful. So I do want to apologize, first of all, because I have not been on pretty much any social media this week when it comes to the podcast.
Well, you're busy at work and then you're also sick like crazy. So.
Right. But also, my lack of motivation for this movie definitely colored. I didn't also post about last week's movie, so if you guys missed it because I didn't post about it, we did talk about Captain Ron. I actually enjoyed the movie. Tyler didn't hate it. But so guys, go check that out. I will be posting about this movie because it's been a whole week. But yes, I am sorry. I disappeared. Blame Tyler, please.
How is this blame me if you disappeared?
I had no motivation for this movie. I didn't want to watch it. We watched it so last minute because I just didn't want to watch it. And then when we watched it, I remembered why I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm Tyler.
I'm Shay.
And this is Cinematically Correct.
Why don't you do the brief synopsis?
Brief synopsis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the movie essentially picks up right after the first one, where they're no longer police officers because they got all fired.
Brief.
They go back to being police officers, and the movie is about them fighting with Canada, basically, and that's it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's basically about, there's a town in Canada which is going to become an American town based on, like, borders moving or something like that. And these police officers from America are sent over to Canada to...
It's not actually Canada anymore because it's now America. But
well, it doesn't become America. So it's a whole thing. But anyway, so they're basically trying to make the transition for the Canadian police officers to move over to a different territory, and then they're supposed to become...
the Mounties.
Yeah. So, to start with, my confusion with this movie, just right off the bat, why did they choose to reinstate defunct police officers for this purpose? Because they didn't really give a good reason.
Well, because they didn't have to go through the hassle of training new people at the academy. The governor said that she wanted people that are already familiar with the roads, already...
Right, but they were let go for a reason.
For killing Fred Savage.
Okay, so anyway, so you're going to do a lot of the talking in this because I'm going to be completely honest, I stopped paying attention pretty much halfway through the movie because I was so bored and so just like, this can't be a movie. I can't be watching this. This isn't real.
I was really confused because the starting intro was confusing where they're on a tour bus and
with
then...
Coach from New Girl.
And Stifler from American Pie.
Which they actually call Stifler in the movie.
Yes, they do, which is why I said that.
Yeah. And, yeah, they go onto the bus, so they're police officers, apparently, like, good police officers, go onto the bus and realize that the Broken Lizard comedy troupe people, so the old police officers, are now in a band.
Called Crackling Bacon or Crackled Bacon?
Cracklin' Bacon, yeah, something like that. And these new police officers are, like, fans of the band and want to be part of it. And then they get pranked into, like, being pushed off the bus. And
then there's a fight scene and car chase on a bus where, like, 6 people die, but they don't actually die because it's all a dream.
Right. And then you, like, wake up to Favre being a construction worker, like, project manager type person.
It's Farva.
Whatever. And then... Making a lot of cock jokes.
Like, as in cocking of a house, not...
Well, the jokes weren't that.
Well, right. Yes, and then everyone still hates Farva, which hasn't changed because he's...
So annoying. Obnoxiously annoying.
Well, that's who he's supposed to be in the movies.
But it wasn't funny. It was just like, please get him off the screen. Please.
Yeah. And then they... fake going fishing to become police officer again.
Yeah.
And the movie is all horrible mishmash of random things happening for no reason.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, there's no real storyline that I can follow, really, other than Canada giving up land, which would never happen, and then them just being police officers.
Well, so the storyline. Let's try. Let's make a good effort. So, my understanding was that when they were deployed to be police officers in Canada, they were basically trying to prove themselves. Like they were the better police officers, and it was basically a pissing contest between Canada and America, and they ended up in prank wars, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, if that's what we want to call it. It didn't make sense. It was just why. I don't understand. This was supposed to be their second chance, and I just...
You had one job, which was to not screw it up. Like, your job is to toe the line, do everything the right way, and then you get your job back, which is what you want.
Right.
But they don't, and the whole movie falls apart.
Right.
It's kind of...
Well, okay. We're just crapping on the movie, so let's do a positive. So this was filmed in your hometown.
Yes, it was.
So, like, what scenes did you recognize?
Well, so one of the first scenes, actually, in the movie, where they're crossing into Canada, is filmed about 100 yards from my parents' house.
So, like, the foliage photos?
All of the foliage, to my knowledge, was filmed in Mass, not Vermont, as people think.
Yeah. Oh, shock.
But it's all Mass. It's Middlesex, Central Mass area.
Yeah.
Hopkinton, Sudbury.
Yeah, it was JB Sawmill, I believe, was a big...
Which is right near that actual area. It's right down the road.
Yeah, so I think we will, at some point, so if you want to check our Instagram at Cinematically See, we will be posting some kind of photo from there. I'm not sure if I'm going to take a photo from the movie and, like, hold it up to the real-life location or, like, what we're going to do, but we'll take some kind of a photo just so you guys can see that it was actually filmed about 30 minutes from where we currently live and where you actually grew up. So.
Right. It was kind of weird because the only claim to fame that I've ever had for my hometown was the start of the Boston Marathon. But this was kind of cool, and I wanted to watch the movie, and I kind of regret that I did because it kind of shattered my illusion of, oh, there's a movie filmed in my hometown.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not a movie you want to be bragging about.
No.
Now, there's a movie shot in my hometown.
Yes. Rub it in.
Well, we haven't seen it, so
No.
I wanted to see if the podcast audience would be interested in us seeing it, because we haven't. So the movie that was shot in my hometown was The Judge. Looks like it's got Robert Downey Jr., Vincent D'Onofrio, and Robert Duvall.
Yes.
So the cool thing is it was shot in my hometown, but it's also shot in my one day I will live there, I swear on everything, town. Like, I love this town.
It is 100% her idealistic town.
Yes. So that town is called Shelburne Falls. My hometown is Attleboro. And that's not planned at all. Like, I didn't know any of that. Like, it's not like
I had to tell you that it was in Shelburne Falls.
Right. Now, Shelburne Falls, I fell in love with it. I think it was last year when we went.
You've been literally one time, and you can't stop talking about it.
Right. I mean, we went there for a flower bridge, and we came back with the place I want to live for the rest of my life, basically. So, anyway, if you guys would like us to watch the movie, The Judge, and let you know if it's a better representation of a hometown than Super Troopers 2, please let us know, comment, send us tweets, anything, because I really want to see it. I'm curious to see if I recognize places. I mean, I have to assume I will. But...
I mean, it was very weird to see a place that I've driven on that road almost every day when I was in high school and much younger. Well, not below 16, but get the point. And I'm very familiar with all of those areas. I'm like, it looks different because they changed things, obviously, but it's still definitely my hometown. Yeah,
I was looking at pictures online, and there was like a spot on Fruit Street in Hopkinton where there was like this, like, it almost looked like a ticket booth or something that was obviously in Hopkinton.
Yes.
And they put like the Canadian sign on top of it and things like that. So
I believe it's actually like a pump or water station.
Yeah, I want to actually drive by there to see, because I was like looking at the photos and I couldn't find any photos without like movie stuff on it. But I was like curious to see what it looks like. Obviously, it's probably just plain, but
it's a brick building on Fruit Street, and it's right next to the sawmill.
Okay, well, so. I still would like to see it, but it is kind of cool to like look at something like that and be like, oh, I've been there. Like I've seen that. Like so. Anyway, that's a positive.
I mean, that's one of the few positives for this whole movie. Really, if we're gonna be honest, not a lot of redeeming parts of this.
No. Now I will say this is going to be a shorter podcast because we literally hated this movie, but we're gonna try. One thing I did obviously have to note is that this movie was released on 4/20, very, very original. So, did you see in your readings about the bear?
No. What happened with the bear?
Well, so first of all, I actually thought it was a CGI bear. I didn't actually think it was a real bear.
No, it's a real bear. I thought it was a real bear.
So I don't know if this is true, so don't come for me. But according to an article I read, this is the same bear from Anchorman.
I can buy that. It had a similar look.
It seems like it could be. There's a thing called Humane Hollywood. I don't know if you've ever been on the website, but basically it tells you how well a movie does with handling animals. Mm-hmm. And it actually got a perfect rating. They said that they were very good about, like, they had to, like, put this tape around the bear to make sure that he, like, stayed in the center of the room. And, like, the actors had to stay outside the tape, and the trainer was, like, you know, cueing him as to when to growl, when to stand, when to, all that stuff. And apparently they were really good. Even with the cat, they had, like, a trainer on hand the whole time. And the cat, like, the trainer was holding the ladder during that whole scene. So apparently they actually were very good with their animals and stayed true to what the trainers told them to do. So, I mean, props to them for that. Like, that, I mean, that to me makes me happy because I'm very much a animals deserve the best treatment type person.
And then I want to talk about, I don't remember the original movie bothering me with all of the dick and drug jokes.
Oh, it bothered me. Oh,
well, I know it bothered you. I remember watching it a long time ago when I was in high school, and obviously...
Wasn't it 13 years before this movie was released?
I think it was 17. It's been a while.
Oh, 17,
It's been a long while.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just remember enjoying the first movie because I was an immature high school
You're like
student.
16, 17.
Yeah, I was an immature high school student. And so I was all about the dick and drug jokes. Like, that's kind of like, ha ha ha.
Right.
But not so much.
I mean, so I really haven't changed pretty much at all.
It was painful.
Right. So, sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. I really haven't changed from high school at all. So it bothered me a lot then. I am not somebody who likes slapstick comedy. I don't like dumb humor. Anything that doesn't like make you think more than like the delivery of the joke, I'm not usually in for. Like, I'm not
Such
about that
as?
life. We're not going there. You want me to say it.
What movie?
You want me to say it, but I'm not.
I'm going to tell everyone your dirty secrets.
No, you're not. But anyway, so I hated the first movie. And I wanted to like it because so many people made me watch it with them. Like, I think I saw that movie, I don't even know. People just wanted me to see it because I liked the movie. I don't know if you know this movie. You have to know this movie. Everybody knows this movie. Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
So I loved that movie.
Which I don't understand because I hated that movie.
You sleep in a car bed. Yeah, but it's a fucking sweet car. Like, I loved that movie. So everyone thought I would love Super Troopers, but I just didn't. The jokes didn't land with me. So,
I mean,
anyway.
I think it was me growing out of that part of my life and no longer being a teenager.
Probably.
It was tedious.
Oh, yeah.
It was a chore to watch this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. I don't know where else to go from here.
Okay, well,
it got a 32% on the Rotten Tomatoes.
73% audience score.
67.
Oh, it was 73 at the time that the AMA was, because I read the AMA. I don't know why I read the AMA, but I did. Well, if you don't have anything to say, then one thing I did want to talk about is during their AMA, they said that one of the reasons that they decided to go with the plot of the movie that they did was that the idea that you can do things in Canada that you can't do in the United States was appealing to them.
Such as the brothel and...
I have to assume that things like that. So what I did was I looked up things you can do in Canada that you can't do in the United States. Now, granted, what it ended up doing is making me want to go to Canada.
So what can you not do in America that you can do in Canada? So
now, I just want to preface this by saying not everything in this is going to be related to the movie directly. But I thought this would be an interesting thing to talk about because we don't have anything to talk about when it comes to the movie. So,
yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, there we are. So the first thing, which you obviously already knew, was the legal drinking age.
18.
It's 19,
19.
actually. Right. So the legal drinking age here is 21, so...
Still 2 years.
Right. Number 2 is buy milk in a bag. So I wanted to know...
Why?
Yeah, so I know that we actually have a friend of the podcast, their Learn Me Something podcast, Richard Plum. He actually talks to us quite a bit. They're from Canada. So I'm hoping that they chime in on some of these things because I just want to know, like, does it taste different? I feel like it would taste different.
Why would you get milk in a bag when a jug is just better?
But I mean, they do wine in a bag. I mean, we do.
Yeah, but it's not good wine.
Well, no. So is this good milk?
Well, I can't imagine it's better milk than a jug.
I don't know. It says milk bags became the Canadian standard after the implementation of the metric system. Manufacturing plants needed to be adjusted in order to sell liquid in liters, and those that produced plastic jugs would have had to undergo expensive alterations to meet the new requirements. Instead, the government went with a cheaper option involving the process of injecting milk into plastic bags.
That sounds crazy.
I can't picture. Like, do I have to, like, hold the bag up?
Well, that's the thing. You need a rigid structure to pour, don't you? Like, isn't
like, what kind of, like, opening is there? Like, is it like a nipple type opening? Or, like, can you, like, suck on it? Like, what is it? I want to know. I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
I have a lot of questions. Number 3 is explore a real walled-in city. So apparently the ramparts of Quebec City is the only walled-in city in North America and one of the oldest. So clearly that now makes me want to travel there because now I want to know, like, I want to see it.
Also, aren't you French Canadian? At least partly?
I am.
Yeah.
So, sure.
Well, that's Quebec City.
Okay. Swim with polar bears.
I'm
down.
That's very dangerous.
It says that the guests can swim in a pool with only a wall of shatterproof glass separating them from the fluffy beasts.
Ah.
I'm down. I'm in. If anyone's done that, I need to see photos. I need to know what it's like. I need all of the details.
Well, yes, you need the shatterproof glass there or they eat you.
Yeah.
So.
Number 5 is visit Regina George's house, which I thought, for anyone who doesn't know who Regina George is, it's the girl from Mean Girls.
It was filmed in Canada?
It says Regina George's iconic mansion from Mean Girls is actually a mansion in one of Toronto's richest neighborhoods called the Brittle Path. The mansion is 20,000 square feet and was put up for sale in 2015 for $14.8 million. But I thought this was appropriate because the Fred Savage scene that you mentioned, if I remember correctly from what you said, because I clearly missed the scene. That's a whole nother story you probably don't need to hear. But what you said was he died by getting hit by a fire truck, I believe you said.
Yes.
Now, Regina George got hit by a school bus.
Yes.
You know, so same type of humor. So, you know.
It was also,
the
Fred Savage scene was apparently shot on Wisteria Lane from Desperate Housewives.
See, we're making a lot of connections here. I will say, as much as I dislike this movie, it did a good job about making callbacks to other things. Like, I think there was a reference to Breakfast Club. There were references to Silence of the Lambs.
Well, yes, it was the whole argument with Farver in the beginning was you get a demerit, the bull with the horns.
Right. But see, my problem with their references were they were so on the nose. They weren't like references where you're like, oh, like I have to like dig and think and whatever. No, it's like, oh, put lotion in the basket. Gee, I wonder where that's from. Like, it was just too on the nose.
Interesting thing. We mentioned this last podcast, but I'll mention it again. Brian Cox, who played the police captain or chief, was the original Hannibal Lecter in the first movie.
I wonder where you found that out.
IMDb.
Mm-hmm. Okay, number 6 is trained to become an RCMP. Apparently, that's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So they rode on horses They don't anymore. Nowadays, they're only used for ceremonial purposes. But
right. So it's like the police horses in any U.S. city that they have where they're just decorative, really.
Well, right. Because, I mean, like, how do you do a high-speed chase on a horse? I'm not really sure. Go on the world's highest edge walk. That kind of reminds me of cliff walks. So I'm probably not down.
No, thank you.
Pay with plastic money. Apparently, Canada doesn't have bills anymore, according to this article.
They have bills. They're just made of plastic.
Well, right. So the switch from paper to plastic was implemented in 2011. Pay with Canadian Tire money. I don't know what that is. It says if you're Canadian, you've likely possessed some Canadian Tire money at some point in your life, though they weren't necessarily worth that much. They still represent an iconic part of life in Canada. Today, it looks like Canadian Tire money comes in the form of a rewards card instead of bills. So if anyone knows what Canadian Tire money is, I have no idea.
That Does not make sense.
Number 10 is not true. I'm gonna put this out there. It says buy a Kinder Surprise. So it says that that there has been a ban since 1938 in the United States where the government has disallowed the production, sale, and distribution of candies with embedded toys. Now, we've had this conversation because for anybody who doesn't follow us on Instagram, we did a review of a Russian snack box. What was it called?
I don't remember.
I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But if you guys go to our Instagram, it's on there. And in there was a Kinder Surprise. And at the time that we opened it, you said that those are no longer for sale in the United States. So it's really cool that we were able to get one.
They are now back. They didn't used to be.
Right, because we have, ever since we received that box, we have seen them everywhere. It's like when you buy a car and everybody has the same car. Like, I'm telling you, I literally just saw one, like, at the last store I went to. Like, I know I did.
I saw one today at the supermarket.
Right near the register.
Yeah.
So, I should have looked into this because I'm now curious when the ban was lifted, but it had to have been lifted unless we're all just getting, like, real, like, don't even care.
It was recent. It was within the last year or so.
It has to be.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so this article might be a little bit older, but just saying, it's definitely not true. Number 11 is sell a book that was printed before 1985. So apparently there's a ban on children's books in the United States printed before 1985 because there was fear that there was ink used in those books that contained traces of lead, which ingested could cause health problems. Which is curious to me and makes me think that if I want to find really old Winnie the Pooh books, anyone who doesn't know I collect Eeyore, I'm going to have to go to Canada. But I feel like I've purchased old children's books. Have I not?
I don't know.
Well, what about like the Jungle Book thing that you bought?
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily a children's book, and it was Tarzan.
Oh, Tarzan. So is children's books defined as a book with pictures?
I would imagine probably because that's where the paint would be.
Well, what about my little Winnie the Pooh books that I got not too long ago?
That's not before 1985.
You sure?
I'm fairly confident.
I'm very curious about this.
All right.
And anyways, the last one. Drink a sourdough cocktail.
What the hell is that?
It says it's a drink that has 1 ounce of hard liquor, preserved... Wait. It says 1 ounce of hard liquor of your choice and a preserved, dehydrated human toe.
Wait.
That's what it says. I don't know. You can drink it fast, you can drink it slow, but the lips have got to touch the toe.
No, I don't want to do that.
What is that? All right, guys.
Canada, get your shit together.
Just tell me what it is, because if it's a thing, this is the question I have for you. How did you get your toes?
And secondly, is that where the toe scene at the end of the movie comes from? Like the creepy, he cuts off his toe with a shovel?
Oh, maybe that's the connection.
No, that should not be a thing. No. You should not be drinking.
You know how
you should not be drinking liquor with toe juice in it.
Toe jam. Wait, do you guys eat toes in other fashions? I have a lot of questions. So anybody who's from Canada, like, please let me know.
Somebody drunk has swallowed one of those and become a cannibal on accidentally.
Wait, can you swallow a toe? Because it's got a nail on it. Do you take the nail off before you drink it? I have a lot of questions.
You could swallow a toe. I mean, you've swallowed big pills before. It's basically the same idea.
I have a lot of questions. So if anybody wants to let us know.
We are devolving into a nightmare.
If you have a video of somebody drinking
No, I don't want to see this. I do not at all want to see this.
We will do a reaction video.
No, we will not.
We will. So, anyways, those were the things. I just wanted to say them because, one, we didn't have a lot of things to talk about, but two, I found it actually kind of interesting. But the big question is, do you have a history minute?
I do. Before I get to the history minute, did you know that there was a callback? There was a lot of callbacks to the original movie in this. One of them is when he's getting shaved. He says, "Did you use menthol? It's starting to burn." So apparently in the first one they used menthol shaving cream when he's head to toe covered, and it actually does burn your skin.
Well, I can imagine.
Yeah. So he was making fun of them for putting it on his junk in this movie after he got chemically burned in the first one.
Did the actor get chemically burned?
Yeah, they had to hose him off of the fire department quick. Like they took a fire hose to him, supposedly.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. So I will admit that I did not notice a lot of the callbacks to the first movie because I hated it. So I didn't remember a lot. So.
Well, there's Jim Gaffigan, the getting pulled over, the meow, listen here.
That I recognized because that's just annoying.
Yeah.
Frankly. But, yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, we didn't mention, one thing I did want to say was Tyler Labine was in this movie.
Yes, he was.
Tucker and Dale. I love him a lot, and I thought it was cute, or, I don't know, appropriate that he was a Canadian because he's from Canada, which we knew from watching Tucker and Dale. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that because I really like him, and I feel like he's not really mentioned in reference to this movie in anything that I've seen. And people don't really talk about him. The person that's mentioned more is Will Sasso. Now, I don't actually know. I've seen him, but I can't place a movie that he's been in.
Saturday Night Live, I believe.
Oh, is it? Is that?
Yeah.
I mean, I recognize him.
I think it's SNL.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have much else. I will say that the Broken Lizard comedy troupe is doing another movie about, I think it was like Tacoma PD when I went on their Instagram. Something like that.
It said something like Super Troopers 3 Winter Soldier.
Oh, that was on IMDb, but no, right now they're promoting a movie that's like Tacoma PD or something like that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing personal, guys, but no.
Did you see? I texted this to you, but you don't usually look at your phone before we record.
Did not.
But this movie passed The Quiet Place in the box offices. I'm not kidding.
Well,
I wish I was.
That's not surprising, given that there are a lot of stupid teenagers in this country and the world.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about this movie, I will say, is that it was funded by fans. So it started as a GoFundMe project and actually reached its goal in, I think less than 24 hours.
They were at 75% in 14 hours.
Yeah, so I mean, it does show that they are doing what the fans want. It's just, I don't know who their fans are. Is this a Russian conspiracy?
No, it's a teenage boy being dumb conspiracy.
What teenage boys have money to support a movie?
Rich entitled teenage boys.
Anyways, so your history minute.
Tyler's History Minute.
History minute. So they mentioned in the movie Rob Lowe's character as the Halifax explosion, which is an actual thing, and they go into it a little bit in the movie. Essentially what happened is two ships collided in the harbor of Halifax, which is Nova Scotia, and one of them was packed to the brim with high explosives. So they blew up and destroyed the entire city, essentially. Oh my
gosh. I didn't know this was a real thing.
It is a real thing. Happened, I believe, in 1917, I want to say, somewhere around the early 1900s. And it was before the nuclear bombs dropped on Japan. It was the biggest explosion in the history of the world.
Oh, so when he said he was like the second biggest
exactly.
explosion since Hiroshima, that's what he meant?
Yeah.
Interesting. Did anybody die? Do you know?
I believe almost 2,000 people died.
Oh, that's awful.
So it's right up there with like the San Francisco earthquake and other kind of disasters where it was a huge catastrophic event.
Wow, that's awful. I'm
Actually,
sorry.
December 6th, I believe, which is the day before Pearl Harbor, but not the same year.
Well, that's a very devastating history minute to end the podcast on.
I'm sorry, but that's all I got.
Okay, well, that was unbelievably devastating. If you didn't get from the beginning of the podcast, we don't have audience ask because I wasn't on Twitter, so...
Blame Shay?
Yeah. So I promise next week we will do better. I'm going to try to even have audio clips for next week. It's going to take a little bit of effort for me.
The audio clips for this week were my fault.
Yes.
I was supposed to talk to one of the police officers that I know from my hometown that was there for the filming, I believe, to have him chime in.
Yes, but he didn't do it.
I missed that.
So I am going to do my best to get some audio clips for next week. Next week's podcast, if it all works out the way we're hoping, will be a bit longer. So be prepared for that because the last two have been pretty short. This one and Captain Ron. But yes, that will be a bit longer. I did want to, real quick, before we do our ratings and reviews, I did want to give a second to another podcast that we've been listening to, the Brooke Reading Podcast. They do really great reviews of books, and the person's just actually really fun to talk to. I actually talk to her a lot on Twitter. So I wanted to give her a quick promo and put that in there. So,
do you read books? Do you live by small bodies of water surrounded by trees and other wildlife? Is that geese shit? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, you have found a home here at the Brook Reading Podcast. Each week, I read a book while nestled in my small New Jersey apartment and gaze out the window at a brook. Then I jump online, talk about it, ask for your opinions, and bitch about something for approximately 5 minutes. If you would like to join this madness, check out the Brook Reading Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, or on the Radio Public app. Let's step into some animal feces together.
okay.
I love the hand gestures.
I'm really great at those. So anyway, so give her a check out. Her name is Melissa. She's wicked sweet. So please give her a listen. So now on to the reviews.
Reviews.
Reviews. So
I expect that you're going to say what you said when you listen to this movie because you will make everybody on this podcast love you.
I'm not going to say that.
You're saying it.
So I'm going to give this 3.75.
You're nice.
It was only that high because it was filmed in my hometown. Otherwise, it'd be like a 1. Like it was tough to get through.
Oh yeah, I agree. It was almost maybe the worst movie we've reviewed on the podcast.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It could be.
I did not say anything to that effect at any time. I did not reference another movie that we reviewed for the podcast in any way. Did not mention Big Trouble in Little China, and I didn't say that this movie was worse. Categorically, I did not say that.
If you guys want to go back and check the reviews for Big Trouble in Little China, I am pretty sure he rated this lower. Just saying.
No, this was definitely worse than Big Trouble.
Yeah. I will rate it a 2. The only reason I'm giving it a 2 is 1, because I recognize some of the places, but also 2, because I did really appreciate that they were really good to animals in the movie, because I do look up at that Humane Hollywood website every once in a while, and not every movie is up to standards. So I do appreciate that. So I will give them a little bit. But I have never rated a movie this low before. I'm sorry, and I feel horrible about it, but I'm just not one for drug and dick and tit humor. Like, it's just not... It's just not for me. Okay, I don't find it funny.
We get it. We were hit in the face with it over and over again. We don't need more tits in our face.
Yeah, I just don't find it funny. But anyway, so next week we're doing a total 180. I mean, like, this is entirely different. We are now doing a kids movie.
Yes.
So this is our current movie. It's what's in theaters. It's called Wonder Park. I am praying it's still in theaters when we go see it this weekend, because I have not looked it up this week. So pray for us. Because the last time we did a current movie in theaters, we had a very hard time finding it in theaters, if you remember correctly. So
yes, we did.
Anyway, so we're doing that. Hopefully it'll be a good episode. You guys seemed to like it last time we did kid movies, so we'll see.
Hopefully they don't destroy another childhood classic song.
Oh, jeez. But anyway, this should be a good movie. But so I did want to give a quick plug to all of our social media channels, even though I was horrible on it last week. But, it's fine. At Cinematically C for both Twitter and Instagram. On Facebook, Cinematically Correct's listener group. And
which is only me at this point, because you are never there for...
I posted in there today.
Shout out Saturdays. You don't ever do it anymore.
Okay, if you guys want us to do a shout out Saturday this week, you have 2 options. One, we will do a video commentary reaction video to...
No, I'm not doing that.
The Sourdough cocktail.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yes. Or 2, we will go live on Facebook and we will do what was it? What's the gummy thing that you have?
It's a Moscow Mule gummy that's about 6 inches tall.
Right. So we will make Tyler eat that live on Facebook. So you have those 2 options. Tweet it at us if you want us to do it. We will make sure that we come on if you guys tweet to us. Otherwise, I mean, we'll see. It's hard to go on when nobody's watching. Like, that does get a little bit discouraging.
And no, we're not doing Freebird.
Yeah, and no Freebird. So if you guys want to see one of those two things, tweet at us. One of them would be live. One of them would have to be a regular video because I don't know how we would do commentary otherwise. So let us know. We will do that. Anyways, I don't think I plugged our Gmail, but cinematicallycorrect@gmail.com. You can send us whatever you like. And please leave us ratings and reviews on iTunes. Those do help other people find us. I haven't plugged that in a long time, so I wanted to make sure I said it. Anyways, next week, Wonder Park. Come back and listen to us. Thanks to Jake and Athos Music for our intro and outro music, and we will see you next week.